You are listening to Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast, a podcast where we believe wrestling is a buffet and there's something there for everyone. Make sure you're following us on all social media such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook under Two Heels and a Face. That's number 2 Heels and a Face. Make sure you check out our website, twoheelsandaface.com.
Era, Two Heels and a Face.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Heels and a Face Wrestling Podcast. Hopefully you can understand me or hear me clearly. I am a little under the weather. I might be coughing during this. Chris has been running ragged. He's got the most hectic week of his life. So we're going to keep this short with my illness. Chris is a father of 3. Please respect that. Anyone who says he doesn't go to enough shows, please respect. Chris is a father of 3. And we're just going to do our 5 takeaways from Freelance The Voice. Chris, you and I made it out to a show this past weekend.
We were at the LSA for The Voice, and it was a great time, man. It was a great time to, we obviously got to see each other, had a couple friends. I had a coworker out there, and I think all around, like it's wrestling bringing people together.
Yeah, you brought Alan. You brought a coworker what's his name again? I can't remember. Larry was first time at Freelance.
First time at Freelance. He's done a few other just random shows. He's just he's out just looking for a good time, and he's like, I just ended up at a wrestling show once. And here and there we'll talk wrestling, and he keeps telling me, like, whenever there's a show, let me know. So I definitely told him about this one, and he was excited to be there, and he made it, and he enjoyed it. It was super fun.
He was
big
locked
fan
in
of Latrell.
Yeah, we'll get to him very quick with our first takeaway. But your friend was locked in from the start, and he says he watched a lot of boxing or MMA. Like he's into.
There it is. Bless you.
I told you I'm sick. We're still putting out content even though we're struggling over here. But did he say he was a boxing guy or an MMA guy? I talked to him briefly. One of those.
Yeah, he's into MMA. He'll follow MMA closely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but he was locked in from the start. So, another Freelance satisfied customer and someone that we've introduced to the brand, and he had a great time. But yeah, our first takeaway from Freelance The Voice, and this was a show dedicated to Kirby, by the way. So we're gonna get to some Kirby love, of course. If you haven't listened to some of our past episodes, we re-released our first episode with Kirby, which was years back. And then also we did a catch-up with Kirby that we got Trent, our friend, Trent Zuberi, who does Trent things over at AAW, says he listened to the Kirby episode today, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So we got the nod from him
nice.
From that episode.
Shout out to Trent.
But the number 5 on the list of 5 takeaways is Darius Latrell continues to climb the ladder. Darius Latrell continuing to stay relevant. He did wrestle in a triple threat, but it felt still like a step in the right direction in terms of singles matches. Would you say, Chris?
Yeah, gaining momentum, getting a couple W's under his belt. And then again, for a new Freelance fan, like he's the one that stood out. So that's cool to see.
Stood out.
Why? Okay. I did not mean it, but it worked.
Because of how tall that man stands. I feel like when I'm talking to him over the merch table, I need to stand on that little ledge against the wall.
He was sitting down. So in the LSA how there's that little step kind of where the merch table's at, right on the side of the venue. Well, he's obviously there, and I'm, on the lower part. He's sitting down, and at that point, we're at almost eye level.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's a tall man, but athletic and gaining them W's. So
more athletic. I think his athleticism is surprising. There in wrestling, there's a lot of guys like the Puff wrestler who was wearing the awesome donut gear in the scramble,
and the awesome Crocs.
Dude, how there's like no ankle support in those things. I don't get it, but There's wrestlers like that just don't look like they can pull off what they do, right? Their looks are deceiving and they pull off a lot of stuff. Oh, God, we're sick. But I think the same is with Darius. Because he's so tall and lanky, it's like, can this man fly over the top rope? Oh, yes, he can. Can this man do it? And he continues to do crazy things. I still think we might be building. This is just me fanboying a little bit. I still think we might be building to like a Darius Coda thing in the future. It just feels like Darius, if he continues to stay hot, he'll have another shot at that title. Coda has the strap. There's a lot of like history and a lot of chemistry between those two guys. So I feel like that's what we could build towards, Chris.
Definitely, I'm right there 100%. Like, it would be cool to see something building up where they eventually have to clash, and all like there's so much to pull from. So it'll take us a couple of months to digest that one.
Definitely. What's my cough counter at right now? I think I'm at 3 or 4. There's more to come.
It's all right. You're behind the screen, at least, you know.
Yeah,
there's no
I'm not coughing.
bacteria flying around.
If we were in person, you would be screwed. You have a soccer friendly and a birthday party to go to this week. You can't get sick.
That's true. I was gonna say maybe it'll cost for some PTO, but maybe not.
Definitely. Number 4 takeaway is Alfonso is back in form once again. Another person who you can kind of tell by the way cards are shaping up, this person is going to get consistent, to use a sports phrase, going to get consistent minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Alfonso was a mainstay steady before he got hurt. He's now kind of back from being hurt. And I think he's kind of back to having consistent matches, back to having the matches that we expect from him. He looks pretty much fully recovered. He can be relied on heavily. So it kind of seems like Alfonso is fully back.
Dude, and I gotta say, like, I think even if you hate wrestling, you would enjoy an Alfonso match.
Okay.
He is, to me, he's so entertaining, and just like I would not expect that from the first time I saw him. Like, I did not expect that type of like wrestler, that entertainer. And he's like, he always gets me, man. I think even so he went against Mad Nix,
right?
And the first line is like, "Are you my dad?"
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it, I was not ready for that. It's so good. It's just all the little things that he does. I think he's pretty cool, man. I definitely love watching him work.
Definitely, he's good at those moments where you can like sense the crowd, right? It's quiet, and then he'll hit you with the "Are you my dad?" and like the entire crowd hears it, and everyone gets a good chuckle. But no, I said that to him after the match too. I was like, I feel like you're back, and I think he appreciated it. In every conversation I have with him or Alfonso, or excuse me, him and Coda, it's basically them either just ripping on us or them ripping on each other. Every conversation with them, it turns into some kind of joke or shtick. But that's one thing I felt like I was like, okay, let me be serious for a second. I think Alfonso's back. And yes, I think the performances show that. So number 3, the third takeaway is El Toreo and Coda have match of the night. Chris, lucha connoisseur, El Toreo, does he pass the eye test?
I look at him. I didn't know much about him, and I think I've seen him once or twice before. But I'm like, I feel like he came from that Gali wave. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm like, let's see what he's about, right? Like, and I think he has definitely what it takes. Like, it's he knows what he's doing as far as the lucha moves. I want him to. I want to see a little bit more character out of him, right? It's always a little harder with the mask on and all that, but really diving into his character, and Torero being the bullfighter. Although it's bullfighter, yet he is the bull, right? So he will be El Toro. But let's not get into those
semantics.
right. Semantics. But For sure. I think, and I think in the agenda that we're looking at here, like you made a bullet point of this being match of the night. Um, and I think it was entertaining. And again, we see a Coda that's very confident, knows what he's doing, and
Yeah.
is able to now have the crowd behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I said that I liked most about this match was, I'm a big pacing guy when it comes to wrestling. We've talked about this
Mm-hmm.
many times. I think this match had the right pace, where I liken it to a roller coaster ride. Let's liken it to the Raging Bull. I don't know if people are local
Oh,
listening to
Torero,
this.
Raging Bull. I see what you did there.
It didn't even. It's just my favorite. I haven't been to Six Flags in a long time, but it is my favorite um, roller coaster at Six Flags. I think it's the best. But it's got that long. I think because of its drop. Its drop is very big, in a good
Okay.
way, and it's got that slow ascent, right? And that's what I feel like really good matches are, where they start slow and they build up. So like Coda and El Toreo they're kind of feeling each other out and almost fucking with each other at the start.
Mm-hmm.
And then it builds up to a lot of really awesome drops. Going back to the roller coaster analogy, drops, loops, turns, et cetera, et cetera. So, like in a wrestling match to a roller coaster, I think those are some of my favorite matches where they really lull you in at the start, and then all of a sudden it's bang, bang, bang as the match progresses. Not even like the first half of the match. I'm talking about back half.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's didn't even mean to make that analogy, but I think that's what I like the most about it.
I agree, and definitely for sure. More Torero. Let's see what he can do at freelance, and I'm definitely looking forward to that.
7 or 8, I think, for cuffs. Okay. Number 2 takeaway is the Kirby surprise. So, did you think Kirby was going to be there? Because he wasn't sure.
Right. He wasn't sure during the episode. He said that morning he was gonna kind of have a doctor's appointment. And that he will figure out clearance. And I don't know if he said that on air or during, or after. But I did not think he was gonna be there. To be honest,
Right.
I felt like, and I could be wrong. I didn't talk to anybody about this, but I figured that the plan was to have his daughter, his wife, his son, somebody involved in some sort of way if he
Right.
wasn't going to be there. But because he was there, it was just right. He was able to talk to the crowd, um, talk about what freelance means to him, specific people within freelance, and then the freelance faithful. So, yeah, I did not think he was going to be there, but once he came out through that curtain, I popped like if it was fucking Tommaso
Yeah.
Ciampa back in 2017 or some shit.
No, absolutely. James comes out. He was being very mean. Bright yellow shirt, a shirt that says "Look at me, I have
Yeah.
something to say." Right, and I think this is good too because if James's enforcers, his tag team, aren't going to be on the show, I think it's good to keep James, the manager, James Russo, relevant. I still feel like him and his tag team got some. I still feel like they can get hotter, or they can be like people can hate them more, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, what better way to do that than James coming out being really mean to Kirby, and Kirby just tapping him on the shoulder? And it's not like Kirby had to throw a punch either. He did. He just tapped him on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm right here. Can you please leave?" And James ran
Right. Hand over the mic.
And then Kirby tells a shorter version, basically, of his story that you could hear on our podcast that we recorded. But it was great. It was just enough, right? I think it was. This is like before the second half started, I want to say, of the show. It wasn't enough to the point where like the crowd, he took up too much time or anything like that. He said his piece. He said what he needed to say. He was extremely grateful. His family was so grateful. They were up in the balcony. So it was just really cool for Kirby to have that moment. As you heard on our episode last week, like when you get it. I mean, my grandpa, who I never got to meet, my mom's dad, and this is not to make this episode about me. It's not, but like he had a heart transplant. A new heart just doesn't necessarily. It takes some time for your body to acclimate. And Kirby was saying, like, look, if I can make it through this first year, then I'll be good for a bit. But I got to make it through this first year. So it was just awesome. The future is so uncertain for him. So it was really cool for him to have that moment.
And I think when he kind of announced the Logan Square Auditorium and he was trying to do the Kirby announcement, I was like, Kirby, don't push it. Like, it's cool. Like, you can stop at second 45. Like, you don't have to go the full minute. um, but I mean, yeah, it was. I think it was really cool to see him out there and like sure there's it's a long road ahead, but seeing him in good spirits and being able to address the crowd, and just show how thankful he was for the show and what it means. Like for us, it was. I think it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's just who Kirby is, right? Like it doesn't seem like if Kirby does something, he's going to do it half-ass.
Yeah.
Whether that's showing up to like Logan Square Auditorium and belting your lungs out with a new heart, like he's just like, fuck it, I'll do it.
And did you check out? He had a Kirby shirt on. Kirby had a Kirby shirt.
Oh
Or
no, what did it say?
no, it was a Kirby, the character Kirby.
Oh, the character Kirby. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw him down at the bar for a second, and I wanted to give him a hug, but he's like, no, he gave me like a fist bump.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to like really stop and talk to him just because like the man was being swarmed with love. And also too, like, now me being sick, thank God I didn't stop and talk to him. I know he had a mask on and he's in a fragile condition, but no, I didn't notice that. So that's very meta of him.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was the number 2 takeaway. The number 1 takeaway is Ali again. Mustafa Ali comes back. This was a surprise to Kirby. Kirby didn't even know this was happening.
That's right.
Found that out on Twitter. So during the main event, Robbie Reeves, who sidebar, Alex Storm. Oh crap! I forgot to bring you your poster. I still have one of your posters.
All right,
with the whole roster. So you'll get that one day. But Alex Storm, who made that awesome poster of the entire freelance roster over the years, he did an update to it. And I think they're raffling off that new poster to raise money for Kirby. So
okay.
Freelance, go check Freelance's Twitter.
What's the update on it?
So Robbie Reeves was one of the guys left off. Believe it or not, there was people left off. Who may have worked like 1 or 2 matches, in the time span that they encompassed freelance. But Robbie Reeves, there was a guy named Craven. Do you remember a guy named Craven? He might have been from Australia.
Yes, I do.
Yes, he got put on there. There might have been like 5 or 6 new people added, which is crazy to think that they could find some, because when you're looking at that poster, you're like, this is
right.
Everyone. But Robbie, so 2 shows ago, Alfonso goes up to me. Once again, Alfonso and Coda's love language is ribbing people, basically.
Yeah.
They just constantly talk in ribs. Alfonso goes to me, go give Robbie shit for not getting on the poster. So I waved Robbie shit, and then I felt bad about it later. I got infected by Alfonso's mischievousness, but then Robbie is now on the poster, so that's great. So that's the update. Okay, going back to the main event. Robbie gets hurt during the match.
Robbie gets hurt, yeah.
This is reminiscent of a little bit like Bash at the Beach. I thought it was going to be the Bash at the Beach, right, when the NWO forms. Was it 96 or 97?
Okay. Now that explains what you like towards the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I completely overthought this main event. In the moment, we just kept throwing takes at each other, like, what if this happens? But Robbie gets hurt. They have to bring in a new third guy, right? I go to Chris. I'm like, it's Kylie. I bet you it's Kylie.
The crowd started chanting Kylie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that wasn't, I'm not saying that was my take. Maybe amongst our circle, it might have been our take. But it wasn't, we're not saying we started that chant by any means. But we're thinking it's Kylie, and ends up being Mustafa Ali. you and I are like, oh shit, oh shit. We start popping. Um, then Ali's coming down. I was like, oh, I bet you he turns on him.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I thought this was going to happen was because I was looking way too deep into this. Because the show before ended with Storm, Isaiah, and Saving Gage, right, in the ring after Storm
Mm-hmm.
won, and he beat Kylie. But Isaiah was wearing Ali like presidential gimmick shirt, like in Ali we trust. So I thought that was a sign. I'm dying over here. I need to stop talking. I thought that was a sign that Ali could flip over to that side. Maybe Ali comes around a bit more, and this is like a new beta or something. Isaiah,
Okay.
Saving Gage, Storm, Ali, like a power faction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I could see that for sure.
but I was just being a smarky little smark.
I mean, Ali has proved that he's a good guy all around, and came in for the rescue. And then he did a pretty also once again, Ali being Ali, um, being comfortable with the mic and doing
Yeah,
that speech about the show, about Kirby, about what he means to once again to freelance, just to put a nice cherry on top in this whole event. I think also a great way to close it out. Allowed people to go home feeling good, and um, I don't know. It just gave me that feeling like once again, like the end of the freelance show, people, just saying hi and talking and not wanting to leave until the ring is fully out of that building.
true.
So it was good, man.
Yeah, it had that feeling, right? Where like you want to talk to all the wrestlers, you want to talk to all the other fans around you, catch up with them. But it's like I can't talk to Chico because he's still busting his ass breaking down the ring, which is like kind of what all the wrestlers do. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the card. There he is. If
Yeah.
you're watching on YouTube, Chico just flashed before your eyes. But it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the card or the end of the card. People are still no one is above breaking down the ring in that locker room, which is great to see. Um, if I knew how to do it, I would help, but I feel like I would just get in people's way. So, but yeah, it did have that. It did have a very warm and fuzzy feeling leaving there.
Yeah, I think I'm sure whatever amount was raised, um, is definitely a help towards Kirby's medical expenses. And once again, seeing Kirby come out, address the crowd, I think was pretty cool. And we just hope for Kirby's recovery. And like I said, road is long ahead, but hope health is stays good, and we'll be hearing from him 6 months, 12 months from now, and we'll keep doing this wrestling thing.
Hell yeah, man! That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping Kirby gets through this first year. So continue to send him wishes. I see they're still taking donations, right? These medical bills don't go away if you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people understand that. So yeah, that's it was a great show, and that's what we're hoping for. Exactly how you summed it up. So couldn't say it any better.
All right. Well, I mean, those are the kind of 5 takeaways from that show. You can always go to IWTV and rewatch the show um, under freelance. And I mean, I think what the next show is, I believe, August 27th, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
has it been announced? I haven't seen anything.
I don't know why that date then sticks out of my head. It couldn't be the 27th because it will be a Tuesday show. No, they did announce a show at Emporium.
Oh, Emporium show. Okay, that one
It's an
you don't
Emporium
have to
show.
go to, so that one doesn't count. That one won't count for a total.
Why not? It's still a freelance show. If I could make it out,
I mean, you can come.
isn't
Yeah,
that close to you?
it is close to me. I want you to come. You can come. I'm saying it doesn't count against our total again for Coda.
Right. Let's see here if I can find something real quick.
I'm scrolling online. I'm seeing updated versions of the poster.
Yeah, no, I see the updated poster that you were talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, keep up with freelance. Obviously, freelancewrestling.com is where you can get all your updates, social media, and other ticket links and things like that. So I think this wraps up this show. So it's a quick one. It was just 5 highlights from The Voice, that show that took place on Saturday, July 27th at the Logan Square Auditorium. Um, like I said, go check it out, IWTV, if you missed out on it. Charlie, was a blast once again doing this episode and actually seeing you in person, bro.
Yeah, it was great. Let's do it more often. I know you're a father of 3, but we'll squeeze them in.
We'll squeeze in the kids. I think it's a 21 and over show.
we'll squeeze in some more time in your week. Somehow.
For sure. All right. As far as Two Heels in the Face, you can go to twoheelsintheface.com. There, check out some articles in there. Check out our previous episodes. Click on that Kirby story so you can see what Kirby went through and see how meaningful this ended up being for him. So, social media, Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, everything is 2 heels, number 2 heels interface. And I'll just say, remember to hashtag Viva La Chico.
Definitely. Later.
All right. Thanks.